Devika.
Okay, Adit, bringing you into the conversation. Adit, I want to understand from your perspective. If there is an expectation for India to perhaps get involved in some manner, in your assessment, what is the extent of involvement? And secondly, same question to you. When we talk about other players who have a particular interest in Pakistan, is it in the interest of China and the United States of America to have Pakistan intact and keep it in tatters the way it is at this point in time? Or perhaps do you think eventually some of these countries could possibly explore the idea of, as Mr. Murray was pointing out, negotiating with the people of Balochistan?
So I think, Devika, there is a bit of technical challenge from the audio perspective, but I've managed to gather some of the some of your questions. So I'll try and answer to the best of my ability. So the first part of your question, which is how should India be involved with Balochistan? So I think I firmly agree with what Mehran said, that we need to be behind the Baloch people in trying to lobby their voices, in trying to be available with global media, global academia, which is what we are not doing at the moment. I mean, it was only last year when Mehran was in the Westminster Parliament where he coordinated with various people from the British society and British politicians, where we had a very informative session where people did not even know what Balochistan as a country was. Nobody knew that Balochistan had that many resources which it did not have access to, which was actually being exported to Punjab predominantly. I mean, the Sui gas, the Baloch people do not have any profits from that particular that gas mine. And all of it is now being exported to Punjab, which Punjab is the massive beneficiary of. So all of these kind of information is not there in the public domain. That needs to be sent out. And we can only do that by when we have credible voices within the academia coming out and voicing those opinions, and global media taking cognizance of. The reason why the Gaza protests have taken such a shape, despite the kind of false narratives that exist in the Western academia, it's predominantly because of the way the academia and the nexus of academia and journalism and the various countries lobbying for Gaza have actually laid it out. The point of contention is that at this point, there is nobody behind Balochistan. The people of Balochistan are predominantly fighting this battle on their own, with a little bit of assistance from their diaspora in UAE, in Oman, Bahrain, Netherlands, etc. But other than that, they really have nobody else fending for themselves, and it's all down to them, fighting against the brutal and barbaric Pakistani army. To the next question, which is the China-US nexus, for both China and United States, a divided Pakistan is no good. For them, the most advantaged situation for them is to keep Pakistan in this current drip feed kind of a scenario where, it runs from time to time either to beg to Saudi Arabia, then to China, and then to United States. And that is the best case scenario for the West, which is why, despite Pakistan being the epicenter of global terrorism, there is a mindless political correctness and a mindless silence on who and what Pakistan really stands for. It is not an army that owns the country. Sorry, it is not a country which owns the army. It is the army which actually owns the country, which is why everybody wants to deal with the Pakistani establishment instead of dealing with the Pakistani polity. So that is what needs to change, and that can only happen once the Pakistani people take cognizance of this, once the people of Pakistan make their army and establishment accountable for the massive number of failures that they've had since 1948, and including the lifestyle of the common Pakistanis, the inflation rate, the fact that they're not being able to eat two square meals a day. That is where the Pakistani people and the civil society needs to hold their establishment accountable. Devika.